The first teaser for Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, just dropped this morning. It dropped during Star Wars Celebration, which I was lucky enough to watch the entire panel, or at least up until the end of the trailer. I had to take care of Aubrey. But before I get into the trailer, yes, I know it's been a while since I made a video, but you know, things have been going crazy around here. Obviously, we have Aubrey. She's 14 months old now, and she is a ball of energy. Also, I did lose my job back in December, but I got a new job in February, and it's a full-time job. I leave at 6:45 in the morning, and I don't get back till about 6:30, 6:45 at night, and at that point, I just want to relax and not work anymore. So that's why I haven't been making videos lately. But I got the day off today, so I'm making a video about this, and something that, of course, I'm passionate about. I consider myself a pretty big Star Wars fan. I haven't seen all the theatrically released movies. I haven't seen the Clone Wars. I haven't seen the holiday special, but I've been purposely avoiding those. I'm also still making a Star Wars short film of my own called Star Wars Warhammer. I actually made it to the finalists in the Star Wars Fan Film Awards. Didn't win, but made it to the finalists. Anyway, let's get into this trailer. This teaser, really. I have a couple thoughts on it. Overall, honestly, I wasn't very impressed with it, but I just want to, go over my thoughts about it and give you some theories that I have, and just give you my overall thoughts. The trailer starts out with Rey like breathing heavily, kind of panting, and it's very similar to The Force Awakens first teaser with Finn panting on the desert planet Jakku. I don't know if this is on Jakku or Tatooine or what. I haven't been following this movie very closely with all the news and stuff. I just got wind of it this morning that the trailer was going to drop. I knew that it was coming soon. I was like, oh, hey, the trailer's dropping today. What perfect timing. But yeah, I don't know much about this film. This is all speculation on my part. There might be some spoilers later on in this trailer breakdown. But yeah, I thought that that was a very fitting way to start the trailer, but also just kind of, okay, we've seen this before. Another desert planet, yay. But I was wondering, like, what is going on? And we see a TIE fighter in the background. But before we see that, we hear Luke say, we've passed on all that we know. And I just wonder who he's talking to. I don't know if he's talking to Rey, or if he's talking to Yoda or Obi-Wan, or whoever he's talking to, because it sounds like he's talking to somebody else, like an older Jedi that has also passed away or died, and they're talking amongst themselves like, hey, we passed on everything we know. I don't know, that's just a random thought of mine. One thing that really disappointed me about this trailer was the fact that when you see the lightsaber on her hip, and it's Anakin's old lightsaber, which is now labeled as Rey's lightsaber, which really disappoints me. The nostalgia built around it, sure, that's great, whatever, but move past it. I was really hoping that she would build her own lightsaber, that she'd maybe take the kyber crystal out of it, because it broke in half in the last movie. She's just going to glue it back together and say, oh, hey, it works. It looks the exact same. It's still a blue lightsaber, functions the same. I was a bit disappointed by that. I know a lot of people were pulling for her to have a yellow lightsaber. I'm fine with blue. I would prefer a green. Yellow would be cool. Purple would be cool to see again. But what I'd really like to see is, because she was so used to dealing with a staff, that the stick that she had in the Force Awakens, I thought it would be really cool to have her do a double lightsaber, double-edged, double-bladed lightsaber like Darth Maul. I think that would have been really cool, and it would have fit the character so much better than what she currently has. But again, I think that's the nostalgia from the directors and the writers and everything. All the people that are making the movie, they want to keep using this lightsaber, and I don't know. I still think it would have been better story-wise had she gotten a new lightsaber, built a new lightsaber. It would have also been much better merchandise-wise. They could have sold a new toy, with this toy still being Luke's or Anakin's. They could have had specifically Rey's lightsaber. That's something that the prequels did. They focused a lot on toy sales, and this one, a little bit here and there, but not so much. More just nostalgia. Anyway, the TIE fighter that's coming at Rey is Kylo Ren's TIE fighter, and I'm confused as to this, and I really got a Frozen 2 teaser vibe from this teaser. You know, when Elsa is like practicing running on the waves, Rey like sets up to run. I'm like, that's the worst way to prep for a run. You like this. You got to put your hands in. You got to get really low. She's just kind of kneeling down a little bit, like a half lunge, which is, in my opinion, not the greatest way to start on a run. And she's just kind of looking back. I don't know. That just kind of, it didn't really do anything for me. I was more annoyed at like, why is she doing that? I don't understand why she would have to run. When I knew what she was going to do. I knew she was going to try and flip over it, and she did. And I don't know what's going to happen. I'm assuming that she's going to like cut the TIE fighter in half, and it's going to be a really cool moment, but I don't know. It didn't really work well for me because, again, we haven't really seen her training. We saw maybe a minute of it in The Last Jedi, and it wasn't good training. As far as I know, this is an A-wing that kind of flies down. It looks like a wintry planet to a city. I don't know, maybe they're going to get Lando. I don't know. Lando does come back in this movie. I'll get to that in a minute when that shot comes up. Kylo Ren's helmet is put back together, and that fight scene before that helmet shot kind of reminds me a little bit of 300. And I'd be okay with that. That's cool. I love 300. This shot right here of Poe and Finn on this desert planet looks like the same desert planet that Rey was on with the TIE fighter. It looks to me like Finn is holding Rey's staff. Maybe Poe and Finn are looking for Rey. I don't know. I find that interesting, and it could be kind of cool because in The Last Jedi, they really separated everybody, and it didn't feel right. What I heard in the panel, if I remember correctly, that everyone's going to be together in this movie. They're going to have an adventure together. It's not going to be Finn and Rose on their own adventure, and Rey on her own adventure, and Poe on his own adventure. Yeah, I'm excited about the fact that they are going to be together. And here is Lando looking old. Sure. So when I first saw this shot, it looked like Poe, Finn, and C-3PO were being chased by wizards. It looked like they were on broomsticks flying through the smoke, the explosion. But when I looked really closely at it, it looked more like jetpacks. So maybe they're being chased by stormtroopers with jetpacks. That could be kind of cool. And honestly, obviously, we have no idea what's really going on here. Maybe they're still looking for Rey, but C-3PO's there. Again, I don't know why C-3PO's there and what he's doing, why he's important, but it's cool to see C-3PO again. Yeah. And here we get another shot of an A-wing actually crashing. I don't know if it's the same A-wing that we saw before, or even if that first shot was an A-wing, but this one is definitely an A-wing. So it looks like Leia is looking at an old medal from A New Hope. I don't know if it's Luke's or Han's, but obviously she should just give it to Chewie, who is the only remaining person that survived that Death Star attack, the original Death Star attack. I don't know, maybe Wedge is still around. That'd be kind of cool to bring him back. But anyway, yeah, Chewie deserves a medal still. Hashtag medal for Chewie. So here we get a shot of Rey and Leia hugging. Rey is crying. As far as I know, from what I heard again on the panel, they're actually recycling or reusing footage that they previously shot with Carrie Fisher. They're not really creating her in CGI. They might here and there, I don't know. But from what I heard, they're using archived footage from the last two films to fill in the gaps. And they were really editing the story around that, which to me is respectful, but also dangerous in the fact that it's like, well, hey, we want to tell a good story, but we need to involve Leia, so we'll change it a little bit to fit her in so that we can use her character. I don't know how they're going to do that, how it's going to go down, or what could have been different if she were still here, but we'll never know. But I am interested to see how they're going to complete her character. And I still think that they had an opportunity in The Last Jedi to complete her character, to end her character, but they didn't. So, in this shot we got Rey, Finn, Poe, Chewie, BB-8, and I forget what the new droid's name is, but he's there too. They're all on this cliff, and they're actually looking, to me, what looks like a very broken down pieces of the Death Star. I don't know if this is the first one or the second one. It's definitely the Death Star, a Death Star, because there's 1 and 2. I'm assuming it's the first one because it's in an ocean. Maybe this is on Yavin 4. That would be cool. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see. I don't think this is on Endor. It's got to be one or the other, because the battle of the first movie was over one of the moons of Endor, or Yavin 4. And then the second Death Star was over Endor. So it's one or the other. They can't just randomly put a piece of the Death Star on another planet unless they explain it somehow, which I hope they do. But yeah, it's in my opinion, in my theory, it has to be one or the other, and I'm excited to see the return of Yavin 4. That's my hope and theory, is that it is Yavin 4. So Luke, near the end of this teaser, you hear his voice say, "And we're never really gone," or something to that extent. But then you hear a laugh, and the first thought that I had was, it's Palpatine. It's Emperor Palpatine, and that was kind of confirmed by his appearance on stage after the trailer at Star Wars Celebration. He showed up, but it could also be Luke. I mean, Mark Hamill played the Joker. He's got a great laugh. It's hard to tell. I can't really say who that is, you know. They both have a great laugh. And I would be okay with either of them being the villain. If it's Emperor Palpatine again, that's nostalgia cranked up even higher. Like, oh, well, we killed off Snoke, so let's bring Emperor Palpatine back in. Sure. If it's Luke, you know, that kind of goes with what everyone was thinking about The Last Jedi, is Luke's going to be the big villain. I think that was a theory going around for The Last Jedi. Anyway, either way, I don't know what to make of it. I don't know how I feel about it. It's just kind of, it's a big question mark, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So then we get to the title reveal at the end of the trailer or teaser, and I've actually already said it in this video, The Rise of Skywalker. Now, I'm glad that it's not just a 3-word subtitle. They added an extra word. Instead of The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, it's The Rise of Skywalker. I'm actually surprised they didn't just call it Rise of Skywalker, but whatever. I don't know how I feel about this, because it kind of just, it feels like it negates everything that happened in The Last Jedi. And while I don't personally, I didn't care much for The Last Jedi. And that's why I wasn't like super excited, and I haven't really been paying that close of attention to this movie, because you know what? It's going to come out. Great. I'm excited about that. I'll go see it. But I'm way more excited about Avengers Endgame than this movie, because Avengers Endgame, the movies just feel like with the Marvel movies, they feel like they've just stayed consistent. Some were better than others, but with Star Wars, The Force Awakens was really good. It was like a recreation of A New Hope, but a really good one. And then The Last Jedi was like, let's just throw everything back in there. Let's put stuff from The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi and just make a big mess of a movie and just surprise everybody by, subverting expectations by not doing what anybody expects and doing the wrong things. Like, Luke doesn't care about his lightsaber. Rey's parents are nobody. Snoke doesn't matter. What? Poe Dameron's not a good pilot. I mean, he is, but he's a moron. He doesn't obey orders anymore, and we're just not going to use him. effectively in this movie. That's how I felt Last Jedi handled all their characters. Everything about The Last Jedi's decisions, Rian Johnson's really decisions, and Kathleen Kennedy's, their decisions for that movie were terrible. And this movie feels like it's damage control. Honestly, I feel like we needed 2 more movies to recover from The Last Jedi. But this one, they're cramming what I consider 2 movies worth of repair and resolution into one. So the Rise of Skywalker, that could mean like one of 5 things. 1, Luke is a Force ghost and he does a lot more good for the Resistance. Well, I guess now they're called the Rebellion again. Again, that's another thing that The Last Jedi changed. Originally it was the Resistance, and Force Awakens like, nah, we're gonna go back to the Rebellion. Okay. It should have just been the Rebellion the entire time. But yeah, it could be Luke Skywalker as a Force ghost doing some great things. It could be Leia. I don't think this one's very likely because, unfortunately, Carrie Fisher did pass away 2 years ago. So I don't think that that's going to be the reason for the title. It could be Rey being confirmed as a Skywalker, which makes no sense at all because that would mean Luke is her father or Leia is her mother. Maybe that's why they're crying together. It's like, hey, we didn't tell you in the last 2 movies that we've had opportunities to tell you, but hey, you're part of our family. Oh, that would have been nice to know. And maybe that's why Kylo Ren was really trying to tell her, your parents are nobody, because he sees his parents as being nobodies. I don't know. The other options are, of course, Kylo Ren. He is technically a Skywalker. He has Skywalker blood from Leia. He's technically a Solo, but he is also a Skywalker. But I really hope that they don't have a redemption arc for him. You know, it's like he's solidified himself as the villain. I mean, he killed Han Solo. He was about to turn good and then didn't. He turned even worse in The Last Jedi. So I really don't want them to be like, hey, you know, Kylo Ren's going to be a good guy this time, and that's how we're going to finish off this trilogy and the Skywalker Saga. Don't do that, please. The other unlikely scenario is Anakin Skywalker comes back somehow. I don't know how. Maybe it's Snoke. Maybe Anakin really was Snoke. Darth Vader was Snoke. He had that scar, same scar as Darth Vader had. That one's pretty unlikely. Honestly, I think the most likely ones are either Kylo or Ren, or Rey. Kylo Ren or Rey. And I don't want either. I'm a little disappointed with the title. I was disappointed with the teaser. This teaser didn't really get me that excited for this movie. And I know that has a lot to do with how I felt about The Last Jedi. After The Last Jedi ended, I was like, well, maybe episode 9 will be better. It's not like, oh man, I can't wait to see episode 9, because episode 8, The Last Jedi, should have ended on a darker note, when more than half the Resistance was just obliterated, but they still end on a happy note. Everyone's happy on the Millennium Falcon. The whole Resistance is just here in this tiny little ship, but let's be happy. The lightsaber's busted. I don't have a weapon anymore, but let's be happy. That should not have been a happy moment. Somehow they made it happy. It doesn't make sense. And now this one feels like they're trying to be more serious, at least in this teaser. They'll obviously give us more in the trailers to come, and obviously the movie will, of course, reveal everything about it. But I don't know. There's just so many more questions that we have, and I really hope that they get answered. I don't want any open-endedness. If this is the last of the Star Wars saga, outside of any spin-offs, we need to have no loose ends at the end of this. So, yeah, we need to have no loose ends at the end of this movie. So, I don't know. I'm excited about this movie, but in a very hesitant way. It's The Last Jedi really just messed with me, and I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'm still gonna go see this, but again, Star Wars: The Last Jedi really did a number on me, and yeah, what did you guys think of this trailer, this teaser? Are you really excited for this movie? Are you in the same boat as me where it's just like, it happened and yeah, I'll see the movie. What do you think of the title? Who do you think that title's referring to? And how are your overall thoughts about the title? Not just who it relates to, but just the title in its essence. How do you feel about it? Again, I'm just kind of somewhere in the middle. I don't hate it, but I don't like it. I'm more toward don't liking it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. So that's all I got for you. I don't know when the next time we'll be able to make a video. I'm going to be continuing to play in Rotten or Fresh on Ryan O'Toole's channel. Hope you guys got a chance to see the latest match, not the latest match, but one of the latest matches that I was in with Casey Cosley. That was a very fun time. But yeah, Rotten or Fresh on Ryan O'Toole's channel. Go check that out. And of course, if you like this video, be sure to give it a big ol' thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel. Yeah, I'll be giving videos whenever I can. Hopefully, we'll be able to get a Avengers Endgame review out when we go see it. I don't know when that's going to be. Hopefully opening weekend, but possibly not. We'll see. Anyway, if you like this video, yeah, again, be sure to give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell icon next to the subscribe button so you can be notified of when we upload new content. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video eventually.